There was more than enough grief to go around in federal politics today. The opposition leader, Tony Abbott, was on the end of a withering attack from a former colleague after a messy vote for the Liberal Party presidency on the weekend. And it wasn't a good day for the Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, either, with yet another disastrous poll. Political editor, Chris Uhlmann.
There's little sign of tension about Julia Gillard, but the Prime Minister knows where she stands.
This is a tough reform. I'm going to get on with that tough reform. That's why I think we're in a tough period now. It's a tough period, but we're going to get it done.
The metronome of Newspoll is beating out a relentless decline in her stocks. Labor's primary vote sits at just 30%, but the more precipitous fall is in the Prime Minister's own standing, down 22 points since she announced the carbon tax. Julia Gillard pins her hopes on a change in fortune once the package is complete.
Well, you'll be able to see all of the details of the tax cuts and payment increases when we do the package. And, Lyndall, importantly, you will be able to see exactly where the money is coming from. It's coming from the big polluters.
At the moment, all anyone can see is where the government's support is going. But Tony Abbott has some problems of his own. He's caught in the backwash of a vote for his party's presidency that got very untidy. The man who lost isn't a shrinking violet, and he's wondering aloud why he was encouraged to stand.
I was certainly surprised. I was very surprised because I was urged by Tony to run, and he got some friends of his to basically support me in my campaign. So, yeah, it was certainly a turnaround as far as I was concerned.
Two things concern the former Howard Government Minister Peter Reith. The first is the man who urged him to run publicly showed his ballot to the incumbent, Alan Stockdale. After losing the ballot by a single vote, that left no room for salvaging pride.
It couldn't have been scripted worse, basically, the whole thing. And, you know, from my point of view, I don't like being in this position because if there'd just been a bit of hesitation as to what actually happened, you know, we weren't quite sure who voted for what then, you know, quite frankly, I would have been saying, oh, look, I don't know what happened, you know, and who knows, and, you know, let's put it behind us. That would have been the situation. But because the facts of the matter are so baldly in the public arena, it just leaves me with, you know, nothing else, basically. I don't have a fig leaf, I'm afraid, in this situation.
We had a ballot at the Liberal Party on the weekend. A ballot is a good thing, not a bad thing. Competition is a good thing, not a bad thing. Choice is a good thing, not a bad thing. We had two really outstanding candidates, and unfortunately only one of them could win.
Peter Reith's larger concern is that maintaining the status quo might mean the party will continue to duck industrial relations policy.
This is part of our DNA. This is a big issue for us. And in my view, it was one of the great successes of the Howard government. So I'm very keen to see us, you know, going down the right track on that issue.
Yeah, no, so far so good. Yeah.
Those Liberals that didn't want the former hardline workplace relations minister running the party argued that he'd be a large target for another anti-work choices campaign.
Union power! Union power!
Many in the coalition blame work choices for the 2007 election loss, and Tony Abbott officially interred it during last year's election campaign.
Dead, buried, cremated. Dead, buried, cremated.
Intriguingly, today he lifted the lid on the industrial relations crypt.
We will have a strong and effective policy in good time before the next election, but it will be based on problem solving, not on ideology.
So you don't think you've been too timid then on AR?
I think that we will have a strong and effective workplace relations policy in good time before the election. It will be based on solving problems, not on ideology.
Peter Reith is delighted.
That is very good news. And I think I would say to the Australian people, well, you've got to give Tony a pretty big tick on that. Not only is he up in the polls, but he is genuinely concerned. In a sense, I'm not surprised about it, but he hasn't been saying it, and if nothing's come out of this weekend but that statement, I must say, well, good on you, Tony.
And it opens a window of opportunity for others.
We see here a pattern. Every time the Liberal Party has an opportunity to attack workers' rights, it does. The Liberal Party is absolutely committed in its soul to work choices.
But while the opposition leader had a few uncomfortable moments today,
I'm just not going to get into the question of who said what to whom when.
the grief is unlikely to last and the government's wounds are far deeper. There are unresolved problems wherever you look. The government hoped the carbon deal would be settled by the 1st of July.
Future generations will not thank us if we walk away from this just because it gets a bit difficult or a bit hard.
There seems to be no end to the travails over attempts to resume the live cattle trade with Indonesia.
For this industry to be up and running for the longer term, we need to have a supply chain assurance, as I described, which provides for animal welfare outcomes.
The mining tax still isn't settled and is still causing disquiet.
We are opposed to the mining tax. We will oppose it in opposition. We will rescind it in government.
And on border protection, the deal to swap asylum seekers with Malaysia is yet to be done.
So the package we've put together around Malaysia, yes, it's tough. It's going to send the toughest possible message to people smugglers. You can't ply your evil trade anymore. But yes, it also is humanitarian. We're hoping it will stop people getting on boats and risking their lives. And we'll also take 4,000 more genuine refugees from Malaysia.